Dear Spaceship Earth, my name is Nick Hagman. On October 1st, 1982, you were opened to the public for the first time, but it wasn't until November 23rd, 1994, for your superior version to appear. The superior version was narrated by Jeremy Irons, and its music score was composed by wdw.guest. It was this version of the ride that I rode 15 times in my life, and it was what I knew and loved about you. On July 9th, 2007, you were closed for renovation, but no one would ever know just how much of an impact this renovation would cause, especially for me. Walls surrounded the attraction, saying that the ride was being improved, but what the public didn't know is that you were mutilated, raped, and altered to death. All of the construction, sponsored by Siemens and executed by the Disney Imagineers, caused you to die from being altered beyond what was physically possible from you. You were no longer Spaceship Earth, and were titled Reimagined Spaceship Earth, because you were no longer the same, and were replaced by another title. On February 15th, 2008, the new version of the ride was available to the public, and people could see with their own eyes and hear with their own ears that you were dead, secretly murdered behind the renovation walls. I, however, was unaware of these changes until I went on it on July 21st, 2009, just a few days after my 21st birthday. When I got on the ride, I noticed that the music was no longer thought-provoking, but rather happy and bland. And while the new female narrator was good, the dialogue seemed appropriate for 9-year-olds, rather than 30-year-old philosophers. Even with these changes aside, I was fine with the ride up until I saw the planet Earth in space. For what I saw what was coming up ahead, a blue infinity of stars, and then nothing after that. What you accomplished, Spaceship Earth, when you were still living that is that communication continues to evolve as technology continues to grow. You showed us this with 2 teenagers talking to each other from different countries, when different countries were sharing news with each other, when classrooms of different locations were able to take a virtual field trip together through LCD screens and microphones and speakers, when a mother was wishing her child good night from far away, when elderly parents could watch their child graduate from college without having to struggle getting out of their house due to the complications of life, when a child at home was asking a doctor if her mother was alright after she gave birth to her new daughter, when an archaeologist could tell his or her workers that there is something of importance in a cave far away from town, and that we can communicate with everyone around the world now. What should have been added to you was how important YouTube and Facebook are now, how we can create legacies to leave behind here on our Spaceship Earth, through creating video blogs and using computers to communicate with one another. Sadly though, what you accomplished tailing back then was completely destroyed. That's right, everything I just said, even this song right now, was completely removed and replaced with a dark, black tunnel and music appropriate for building a house on The Sims 2. Which is fine, by the way, but it's not as, epic. That's your new future, Spaceship Earth. And I know that is not what you intended at all. I know you more than anyone else, and I know you'd want there to be a realistic future with communication flowing ever abundantly. What they put in the dark, black tunnel with nothing inside of it was a computer on your moving cars. People can now choose what they like to do in life and be told how the future will have an abundance of unrealistic conveyor belts and ridiculous automobiles. and that's all that replaced your grand and miraculous spaceship. Cute technology to make kids giggle. And what's even worse about all of this is that the computers could have simply been placed in Project Tomorrow, where people can see the location they selected in the dark tunnel, and not remove all the props that made your ending so intellectual and inspiring. That ending was always my favorite part about you. And now it's gone. Spaceship Earth, I must admit that I am saddened by your death. The future was so promising when you were still alive. And now it's nothing more than a Jetsons episode as people spiral down into an abyss. Alright people, here's where y'all can do your part. You can actually tell Disney why you don't like Spaceship Earth now by emailing them at wdw.guest.communications@disneyworld.com. I repeat, wdw.guest.communications@disneyworld.com. When emailing them, please include your name, address, telephone number, and especially your email address so they can get back to you. We need to let them know just how disappointed we are in the new ending on Spaceship Earth and how it holds no realistic promise for the future. We need to tell them about what Spaceship Earth stands for because they no longer know. Physical distance is no longer a barrier to communication. Today the entire world is our next door neighbor. Our news is their news ours. We share our hopes and concerns with the whole planet. We truly live in a global neighborhood. Wondrous new tools will help us learn more about ourselves, each other, and the planet we share. Spaceship Earth will become our virtual classroom. As we greet the 21st century, yet another revolution in communication is upon us. As profound as all the progress that has come before, by using our new communication tools to build better bridges between us, we will discover that we share the common bonds of hope and sorrow, dreams and joys. Since the dawn of recorded time, communication has revolutionized our lives and changed our world. We now have the ability and the responsibility to build new bridges of acceptance and cooperation between us, to build a better world for ourselves and our children as we continue our amazing journey aboard Spaceship Earth. And so, I hope you all tell Disney how we really feel about these changes they have brought to this ride. I can only hope that the ride will be restored back to full health, but as for now, Spaceship Earth is dead, and I can only hope that Disney will do the right thing, and that is to make it great again. I can only hope that the people responsible for these awful changes are fired, and that I will one day be able to ride the Spaceship Earth that I remember in my heart. Rest in peace, Spaceship Earth. October 1st, 1982 to July 9th, 2007. We miss you. I miss you.